I'm with Amit Barak, and we're talking about a new game he's just produced. Amit, tell me a little bit about this game.
The game is a board game. It's a biblical board game, Way of the Patriarchs, and it's a board that you play. On the board you have three ways. The main one is the Way of the Patriarchs that goes from Beersheba in the Negev desert in the south of Israel, all the way through Judean mountains, Jerusalem, Samaria, Jezreel Valley, and up to Nazareth in the Galilee. Along the Way of the Patriarch, you can say that about 80% of the events, the stories in the Bible took place. And the idea behind the games was to teach about the land of Israel and about the way of the patriarchs. When people are visiting Israel, also Israelis where they are traveling Israel, they're not much aware that you have the way of the patriarchs actually. Sometimes they visit Hebron, they are of course visiting Jerusalem, Shiloh, but they don't know that it's actually a way that goes from south to north and you can travel along the way. So we want to let people know about the possibilities along the way in a fun way. The other idea is that you don't need to collect money on the game, and if you get to Nazareth, then the game is over, but not necessarily you don't have to be the first one who gets to Nazareth. It's not a competition. Along the way, you have tasks, and you need to collect good deed cards, good Samaritan cards. When the first player reaches to Nazareth, then the game is over and you count the cards. The one who has the most good Samaritan cards will win. And the idea is to educate for good deeds. This idea is based on the verse, depart from evil and do good. That's the idea behind this point of view of the game. And the third thing is that, people ask us, why didn't you do it an online game, application and everything? So we said, no, the family should sit together around the table and have a quality time and sit with the kids and teach them and educate them. So that's the three basics idea behind the board game.
So you've got cities on the board. Did you have to do a lot of research to actually draw the pictures of the cities on the board?
Yes, of course, we had to do research. We have to pick up the sites. We chose biblical sites and also sites from different periods, from the Second Temple Mount and even up to modern sites. And we gave an artist to draw everything. And he did a research because the sites on the board, he drew them in two ways. One way as they look today, some of the sites, and other sites, he did the research to find out how it looked in the old times, in ancient days, during the Bible and other periods. So we tried actually to really make the sides on the board as similar as possible to how it looks today or how it looked in the past. And the artist, he did a long way on the Way of the Patriarchs. It took him more than a year to do the research and to draw. Most of the game, the board, the cards, he did it by his two hands. He drew everything.
Wow.
And it's really, the graphics is amazing.
So you're working together with a partner. When did you both get the idea for the game, and how long has it taken for production?
It took us about 2 years to produce the games. And the idea of that was that we both working with Christians in Israel and abroad. My partner, he runs a news agency, an Israeli news agency, so he works a lot with Christian media. And I'm working in the last 8 years with Christians in Israel and abroad, building bridges. So we were looking for something different to do. We are both coming from the NGO field, organizations, many voluntarily projects, and we were looking for something different. And also, actually, during this time of COVID, we want to bring Israel to the living rooms. When people cannot come now to Israel, the idea is to bring Israel to their living rooms. And when they will come to Israel, they will know that they should visit the Way of the Patriarchs.
Mm-hmm. And have you produced this game yourself, and have you had to learn to be a businessman along the way?
Oh, yeah, we are learning. We are still learning. We are not businessmen. Yeah. So we learned both about the Way of the Patriarchs, much more than we knew, and we are still learning. And of course, we are still learning about business and everything. But I think that when you have this kind of long process that you learn about, so you earn twice.
Now you've got a prototype here. Are you trying to raise money at the moment to get the game out into production?
Yes, we are actually going to finish in a few days a Kickstarter campaign where we are trying to raise money to initiate the game. And we hope, right now the game is only in English, but we hope to translate it to more languages in the future. We actually already got Christians, friends that from Germany and from Latin America that they want the game to be in their languages. So the idea is to succeed in English first and to move on.
So what are you wanting people to get from the game?
So the way of the Patriarchs, it's a very important way in Israel. Actually, we still use it today. So thousands of years that this way is being used. We want people to know about the way of the Patriarchs. They read about the sites, they pray, they know their names, but we want them to know that it's actually along this way, and we hope that families will sit together and will teach the next generation, their children, about the way of the Patriarchs, the land of Israel, and about the importance of doing good deeds along the way in their life.
Are you wanting people to connect with the land and with the Bible as well?
Yes, of course. The way of the Patriarchs, the game is based on the biblical sites. I mean, when you have Beersheba and Hebron, Shechem, Shiloh, Jerusalem, of course, Bethlehem, it's all connected to the Bible. On the game, on the board, you have verses from the Bible. You have tasks that you need to open the Bible. You need to read, to look in the Bible, to move on the board, on the game itself.
And this is getting back to basics as well. It's a board game, particularly for families, isn't it?
It is, yes. It's a board game for families to sit and play with the kids. But we already saw also adults playing it, and they had to open the Bible because you don't remember everything. So even adults had to open the Bible and look for the answers in the Bible in order to continue and move on the board of the game.
Which cities are actually in the game?
In the game, you can find Beersheba, you can find Hebron, you can find Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Bethel, Shiloh, Shechem, Nazareth, and you have also other sites like you have Beth Zechariah. Beth Zechariah, it's the battleground of the Maccabees against the Greeks, and you can find Mount Gerizim, and you can find Joshua's altar on Mount Ebal. So it's really touched the history of the land of Israel, from the Bible and up today, because you can also find modern sites on the board as well.
How long does it take to play the game?
It depends. You have the main road it's the way of the Patriarchs, but if you want to make the game longer or shorter, you can choose also the desert pass, and you can, if you don't have enough Good Samaritan cards before you get to Nazareth, you can choose to go down on the Jordan River path to Rebirth and to begin the game again. So you can play it, you can finish the game in 20 minutes and you can finish it after 1 hour.
Has it been exciting producing this game?
Very, very exciting and not easy at all. But we already have some more ideas also to expand this game, but also for the other educational products and games.
So you're going into the games business now?
Game, educational, and everything will be connected to the Bible and the land of Israel and different values. So we can really put the light on the next generation. So based on our experience, Amos and I, working with Christians, the idea is also to connect between Jews and Christians in different ways, in fun ways, with games and with other educational products that we are developing.
Is this going to increase people's Bible knowledge?
Of course, yes. It's going to increase them to Bible knowledge and also to connect them to the land. Not only reading about the sites or reading the stories and knowing them or knowing the name, as many already do, but also to connect them to the ground here. And with the idea that next time they will visit Israel, they will also come to visit the sites on the ground.
So this is actually really preparing people to come to Israel and visit.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Preparing people to come to Israel and knowing the sites better and building bridges between Jews and Christians.
What's your prayer for the game?
This is the first game, so we pray that we will succeed with the game, that family will actually play and will earn values from the game. And this is the most important things for us.
Do you have a website for people who'd like to know more about the game and or even order it when it's available?
Yes, we have a website, we have a Facebook page. People can learn more about the game, can learn more about the sites along the way of the Patriarchs. The site is genovation.co.il. That's the name actually of the company. Innovation, because we hope that we are innovating new tools that can teach about the Bible and the land of Israel and educate the next generation. And the J, you can choose whatever you want. Judea, Jews, Jerusalem, Jesus. It's up to you.
What's your Facebook page name as well?
Way of the Patriarchs. The Facebook page is the name of the game, Way of the Patriarchs.
Okay, Amit, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.